tell, I'm Madeline Monahan, but you can call me Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm doing something very different and very fun and something a little bit special. So a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine, the wonderful Autumn Ashleigh, reached out to me and another friend asking if we would like to do a collab. So the way that this works is they have sent me prompts. And I haven't seen these prompts yet. I did open the envelopes, but I did not unfold anything or open anything, so we're good on that. So I'm going to choose one of them and then write a short story about it, whatever comes to mind, anything that fulfills the prompt. Without further ado, let me figure out whose I'm doing first. I originally had the idea of doing a coin toss, but the problem is you have to have a coin in order to do a coin toss, and I don't have a coin. Should we go in alphabetical order? We'll go in alphabetical order. So we're gonna start with Autumn's. So the one that I received from Autumn. And again, I haven't seen these before, so I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm getting. I'm getting a picture, apparently. That's a lot of ink, Autumn. Oh Lord. Oh no. My prompt is, "I love you," he whispers under his breath as the love of his life walks down the aisle to the man he is paid to assassinate. What am I supposed to do with this, Autumn? My first thought is either like a modern day espionage spy story or an Assassin's Creed type thing, because that's just the two directions that my mind gets split into. But I have no idea which one to follow through on. Because you can imagine it would fit in the realm of like an Assassin's Creed type story. I don't know what to do with this. Oh, this is gonna be really difficult. Oh, I guess it's a good thing I'm only doing one of these today, because I would die if I did both. So as I'm pulling up a fresh document, just a new plain document to fill this in with, I'm starting to think that I am gonna go a little bit more towards modern day. And again, kind of the picture that Autumn put with it is kind of reinforcing that. So I'm gonna do modern day. Or like, I don't even know, like it could also be like mafia too. Wouldn't that be crazy if it was like mafia? You could really throw this in any, dang it, Autumn, this one is a tough one. See, I'm thinking though, like kind of, again, modern day, like kind of almost Mission Impossible kind of feel. Ooh, I'm just thinking too, when he says I love you, that might not just be him being like, oh yeah, I love you, you know, obviously, but might be an apology, you know? Could be an apology. So you could put that spin on it. This is just me thinking out loud because I really don't know where to begin. This is hard. I wonder if Autumn had this much difficulty with hers. I wonder if Helene is going to have the same amount of difficulty too. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that another friend we're doing this with is Helene Foy. I don't know why that didn't come up earlier. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible friend. Helene, I still love you. Please still accept me as your friend. So I have my prompt in front of me. I've got my coffee. I've got my water. I'm going to put this thing on a little hyperlapse. And I'm gonna turn the Grand Tour back on because I'm a sucker for car shows. And the glasses are going on. And we're getting started. So I have come up with an ending. Like, I actually kind of know how I want this to go, and this is going to be short. This isn't going to be like too horribly long. Hopefully not, at least. But I do have a good idea for the ending, and I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and like kind of write it down at the bottom of the page just so I don't forget it, because I have a habit of having a really good idea and then when I finally go to write it, it disappears. And I hate that. So I am wondering if I should... I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and write it. It's starting to feel a little bit John Wick-y. Like, it just feels like if John Wick had a significant other in the movies that wasn't, you know, the wife that dies in the first one, spoilers, or the dog, either of them. And, you know, but I feel like it's like if you took the idea of John Wick and gave him a significant other. Obviously, I actually haven't seen the second two movies, so I don't know if he ever gets a significant other or it's just him and the dog. Honestly, I'm fine with just him and the dog. But this is not a John Wick This is not a John Wick video. This is a short story video. So we're gonna try and keep it to the short stories. But basically it's just like, I'm almost envisioning like a John Wick type character right now. Honestly, I love John Wick. I think that it's a really fun movie. If you have not seen it, I haven't seen the other two, so I can't speak for them, but at least watch the first one because it's a very fun movie and Keanu Reeves is really good in it. Like he's so good in it. But again, this is not a video about John Wick. This is a video about short stories. So we're gonna get back to the short story. That's not John Wick. So I'm gonna do this little update vlog style because my lunch is, well, almost ready. I gotta let it sit for like 5 minutes because your girl loves her pot pies, so she's having a pot pie for lunch. But good news is my hair looks like Hermione Granger for some reason, but that's not the good news. The good news is that I have reached the prompt portion of the short story. So now I am at a place where I can incorporate the actual prompt into the short story, which also means that I am almost done with it. And it's been fun. My biggest issue is that I am writing outside of my focus time, and I call it my focus time, but it's like, normally I work on writing between the hours of like 7 o'clock to like 2 or 3, and it's 3 o'clock now, so it's like a little bit on like that end, in book end of that time. Does that make sense? But I've started to reach that point where I just get really distracted. I will admit I did actually order some books and they came in, so I got really excited about those. So it's taking me a lot longer to write it than I think it normally would if I had done it like earlier today. I feel kind of bad for that just because I keep getting distracted. But I'm actually happy the way that it's turning out, and I'm happy with the way that it's going, and clearly this was never meant to be something more than what it is now. So yeah, so far so good. There it is. There's the prompt. I still got a little bit more to go, but yeah, look at that. There it is. I reached it. I just finished the first story. It took me longer because, again, you know, ADHD and I get distracted really easily. I am done with the short story, and it is a very short story. It's probably the shortest story I've ever written. I actually kind of like it. It is something that maybe I will go back and make a little bit longer. I don't think it's going to be anything more than a short story, but I like it, and I like the way it ends. I really like the ending. I really like the ending. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm really excited to be able to share it with Autumn and Helene kind of once this is all done, and see what they think. Yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm going to put a pause on this for today, and tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'm going to do Helene's prompt, which I'm also very excited for because I don't know what that one is. So I'm really excited to see what she has in store for me. And I'm also just really excited to see what they have in store for me as well, because, you know, obviously they have my prompts as well. So I'm very excited for this whole collab. This is such a great idea. We definitely need to do this more often. This needs to become like, you know, like a quarterly, biannually thing that we do. So it's a lot of fun and it's good practice. So I'm excited for tomorrow, and I will see you guys there. Good morning. It is day 2 and I have been awake for a little while now. I've got my coffee. My brain is feeling somewhat rested, at least a little bit more rested than after the first short story prompt yesterday. So today I am going to be doing Helene's prompt now, and I'm really excited because yesterday was so much fun. I texted both Autumn and Helene immediately after I finished writing it. I was like, why don't we do this more often? So I'm very excited to do Helene's now. I cannot wait. Oh, she wrote me a little note too. Oh, ooh, okay. Helene, again, coming in strong with the prompt. Oh, are you guys trying to... So the writing prompt is, I regret nothing because you don't remember what you're supposed to regret. This, I feel like, could go a number of ways. Like, this could be 2 people arguing. I mean, it sounds like two people arguing is what it really sounds like, but you know, the context of it is going to be something completely different. I already did kind of like a mob hit John Wick kind of story yesterday, so I'm trying to steer away from that and think of something different. But it could also be, I'm thinking too, because if you don't remember, it could be, you know, talking to someone who maybe is a little bit older. Like I know for me, you know, my grandpa, his memory is not what it used to be, so you know, talking to him is sometimes like having the same conversation. And definitely with my granddad as well, that was like the same conversation like 5 times a day. So you know, it could be something like that where you're talking to a grandparent. No disrespect to grandparents, I'm just speaking from experience. But I kind of like the idea of like two people arguing. The idea that I'm getting in my head, I don't know if anyone is familiar with the show Merlin. There was a lot of like tension, I guess, between Arthur, King Arthur, who eventually becomes King Arthur, and his father, Uther, because, you know, for the first like 3 seasons, I think Uther is like king, and then Arthur becomes king later on in the show. But while Uther is king, there's a lot of like kind of these types of arguments where Uther's kind of doing these like questionable things with questionable motives, and Arthur's kind of the one who's like, this doesn't seem right. And so that's kind of what I'm picturing, is like two people in like a position of power who are arguing over like right or wrong, or maybe not right or wrong, but like trying to get the other to see that what they're doing maybe isn't for the greater good. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna change it up a little bit though. We're not gonna copy Merlin here, but I am thinking that that's what I'll do, is just have these two people who are in this position of power. There we go. Try saying that 10 times fast, and just see where it takes me. I feel like this one is going to be a lot more dialogue heavy than the last one. The one that Autumn gave me yesterday was very non-dialogue. Like there was like the one line of dialogue and then everything else was description. At least that's how I interpreted it. That's how I wrote it. And I feel like today is going to be all dialogue, which is, both are good for me because I do struggle a lot more with description than I do with dialogue. But I think this will also help me figure out how much dialogue to have, because I struggle a lot with too much dialogue sometimes, and I don't need to do that. So I'm excited to see what comes out of this noggin when I write this. So coffee is ready, prompt is open, let us write. Vlog style again because my phone is still without a case and it makes me nervous when I put it in its little tripod. So I have already reached the prompt and I don't even think I'm half a page down, but I felt like it was the right place to put it in, and I'm continuing on a little bit towards a resolution of sorts. And I don't know, like I'm both kind of liking it and kind of being like, God dang, this is, oh, my writing is terrible. I think that's kind of natural, isn't it? To be like, oh, my writing is awful. So the prompt is in there. I actually don't know where it is now, which is funny because it's only half a page. How did I lose it? I'm a Hufflepuff. We're supposed to be particularly good finders. I think this one is probably going to be about the same length as the other one. The other one ended up being just a little over a page, maybe a page and a third, something like that. I think this one will probably be about the same length by the time I'm done with it, maybe just a page, I'm not sure. So they're not terribly long, but you know, I don't need them to be long. I don't need them to be book length, or even the short story I wrote about the pandemic. So I don't think that is a requirement here, because I think that one ended up being like 10 pages and I'm like, I'm not writing 10 pages here. So we're gonna stick with the 1 page to 1 1/3 page. Add a stick of butter, preheat the oven to 400. I just finished, I think, this prompt. It's really short. Like it didn't, I don't even think it ended up being a page. And so I feel like I shouldn't be done, but at the same time, I feel like it is complete. And I was right. This one did turn out to be a lot more dialogue heavy than the last one, which honestly, I kind of like that difference between the two. I like that one story was kind of geared more towards like description and the other one is kind of geared more towards dialogue, because those are kind of the, you know, obviously those are the two things that make up a novel, but also I feel like it's things that I certainly need more practice with. And it would be interesting to do another one of these and see if there was a short story or like a blurb or something that I could write that sort of mixed the two a little bit more, because this one is a lot less description heavy. This one has a lot more dialogue, and the other one is like all description with like 1 line of dialogue. So I think it'd be interesting to have a prompt that sort of feeds into both, because both of these prompts, that's just when I read them, that's what came to mind, is that this was going to be one type of story, this was going to be another type of story. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Helene's prompt was all dialogue, whereas Autumn's prompt was like the 1 line of dialogue plus description. So I think that sort of too influenced how I told each story. And they're both short. They're both really short. Obviously not something that I think is ever going to become anything more than it is right now. I don't know, one of these days maybe I'll go back and I will look at these again and work on them, edit them. As of right now, it definitely is good practice, because I realized too that I don't practice writing enough. Like I just sort of dive into it, and there are definitely times when I'm writing, for example, like in the Hades Persephone novel that I'm working on, that I feel like I'm sort of forcing the words out instead of feeling the words out, if that makes any sense. Like there's a difference between feeling like what you're putting on the paper is just because you need something on the paper versus something that you think belongs on the paper. And this was kind of nice practice for that, because I felt like everything, even if it doesn't really make sense, even if it's really short, everything feels like it belongs in that scenario, in that scene. So I think that was really good practice, and I'm definitely going to be taking that over into my other novels that I'm working on, and just try and make sure, again, that what I'm putting on paper feels like it belongs, and it's not just something that I'm putting on there because something has to fill the gap there, you know, it's something that makes sense. So I really enjoyed this. I definitely don't think that my dialogue has gotten any better. I don't think my descriptions have gotten any better, but I do feel like I've gotten in some good practice and have, you know, that I've improved at least a little bit more, a little bit better today than I was yesterday. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see Autumn and Helene's videos, I will put them in the description box down below. Please go and click on those and watch and support them. I really just had a blast with this whole collab, experiment, whatever you want to call it. It has been so much fun, and I've enjoyed every second of it. It has been such good practice, and it's nice too to have that opportunity to step away from the project you're working on now and sort of work on your skills and improve those before you jump back into it. And it's just nice to have that little bit of separation. Sorry, my cat is stretching and she's so cute. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I also want to say thank you to Autumn. Autumn is the one who suggested this idea to me and Helene. So I want to say thank you, because this was a great idea. It's definitely good practice, and I'm glad that we did it. Plus, it's fun to get letters in the mail and like open it up and be like, oh, you know, it's that little surprise. So I definitely would love to do this again. So go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite writing prompt was. If you have a writing prompt that you really enjoy and have done before and would like to share, also comment that below. And don't forget, again, to check out Autumn and Helene's channels and their videos. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that like button, and ring that bell. And I will see y'all next time for another video. Bye!